Summer romance, Italian countryside, first love, sexual awakening, fruit, boys, girls.
Yeah, no, I can't really add anything to that. That was perfect.
Well, I play Elio Perlman, and the film takes place around 1983 in northern Italy, and it's specified in the film exactly where it does take place. And Elio spends his summers in this villa in the countryside, and his family takes in a graduate student. Elio's father is a professor, and we take in a graduate student every summer. And what starts as a hesitant friendship turns into a more faithful friendship, turns into maybe something more than that.
We didn't meet till we were in Italy. We met in Crema, the tiny town that we were filming in. That's where we met.
I was having a piano lesson for the film, and Armie, who I'd never met, bursts in. He goes, "Hey, I'm Armie. You're Timmy, right?" And that was our introduction.
He'd been in this little Italian town for so long that I think just the sound of English, he was like, "I could talk to somebody." And then it was just, we just pretty much were together nonstop the rest of the time.
I was plugged out in New York, and Armie was plugged out of Los Angeles. We got there maybe 3-4 weeks early, and in that neither of us spoke Italian as a first language, we really had to depend on one another for all things, conversation, hanging out, like having fun. So that 3 or 4 week period, we really, got close. And I speak for myself, but I liked you. You're a cool guy. So
He was in the piano lesson. I said, "I don't care. Where's that?" He said, "Oh, it's over in that building over there." And I said, "Okay, I'm going." And I just went in and I barged in the door and I was like, "Hey!" And then we had like a big kind of like hugging moment. And he was like, "Hey man, it's really great to meet you, but I'm in the middle of a piano lesson." And I was like, "All right, fine. Yeah, of course. So he finished his piano lesson, and then the two of us jumped on bicycles. He'd been in Crema for weeks at this point. So we got on bicycles and he showed me around the whole town. And we rode and we went to different restaurants and different like gelaterias and like all this stuff. And it was incredibly analogous to what actually happened in the movie. I was the new guy in town and he showed me around and I fell in love with this Timmy. I mean, it was amazing. It was an amazing experience.
It was such a special and unique experience because we shot it in a little tiny town in Italy called Crema, and Timothy and I were basically the only Americans there. Nobody else spoke English, so if we wanted to do anything on the weekends, we were doing it with each other. We were going to restaurants, we were spending a lot of time together, we were discussing scenes, we were rehearsing a lot. It was really kind of like an immersion. We just spent all day filming and then all night together, and then we would be together on the weekends, and it developed into like a genuine friendship that we still have to this day. It was a really special experience to get to do it, especially with someone as talented and special as Timmy.
Special, I like that.
A lot of specials in there.
We did get time together. I showed up in Crema and Timmy had already been there for a month, learning how to play the guitar and working on the piano and working on his Italian and all that stuff. So I show up to this little tiny town where nobody else speaks English, and it's Timmy, and we're there, and we're supposed to make this movie together, which is already like a great bond between two people. And then we just got to spend so much time together. We would work together all day, and then at night we'd probably,
friendly Italian hours,
Yeah. So you're done pretty early, which is
nice.
Great. They want to work about 8 and 9 hours a day, which is fantastic. And then you go to dinner, and then we'd go back to his place, or we'd go back to my place, and we'd rehearse and talk about the next day, what we were going to do, what our plans were, and then maybe watch TV, listen to some music, do whatever, go ride our bikes around the town square. We got so much time together, and it built such a feeling of safety and trust that regardless of whatever we had to do and whatever ways we were challenged or pushed in the process of filming, it felt like we were going through it together, which was really nice.
We just had a lot of time to spend with one another weeks in advance, so there never felt this pressure to create an artificial intimacy by way of asking each other very vulnerable questions when we got to know one another, or like really leaning into one another when we talked to each other, but rather we just hung out a lot and watched Mike Tyson documentaries, got espressos.
We were really lucky to get a good amount of time together, just the two of us, largely because we were sequestered in a tiny little Italian town where nobody else spoke English. So if we wanted to have a conversation about anything, it was normally with each other. And then we would shoot all day and then go back to my place or his place and rehearse the scenes for the next day, maybe go get dinner, maybe watch like a movie, maybe listen to some music, whatever, and then do it all again the next day. And we really
got to build a good foundation of comfortability and safety between the two of us before we even ever started shooting anything.
In such a way that there would have been like a level of artifice to it had it been in LA or New York, even if we had spent that amount of time together, because it would have been the choice to spend that time with one another. And here, like Armie said, this is what we wanted to be hanging out. We were, this is how we were passing the time, so the chemistry built very naturally, it felt like.
We basically did together everything that we did in the movie. We rode bikes around Crema. We listened to music. We talked about.
There were some things in the movie that we
didn't do.
Right.
He got to Crema, and I had been there about a month already, and I just knew all the spots in town. So the first day he got there, we got on our bikes together, and we were riding around. And it kind of took the shape of the movie, and everything else that happened in the movie happened in real life.
We made out before every take of every scene. Even if we weren't in the scene together, I would go to set just to warm up, as we liked to call it. Yeah.
Working with Tim, I mean, the relationship between the two of you is so amazing. I mean, did you have to work it a lot? It seems very natural.
Each other. It was really crazy. No, we got along really well, and that's maybe part of the genius of Luca, maybe part of the luck. I don't know, but we actually really got on, and that made this whole thing a lot easier. We actually became really close friends and have maintained that friendship, which doesn't really happen on a lot of films you work on. You work with people, and then it's like kind of like camp. You're like, all right. Maybe I'll see you around, but this has been a totally different experience. So I'm glad that it ended up on screen. We did one rehearsal.
A little tiny one, in which...
We did one rehearsal at the house. We show up and Lucas says, let's just do a quick rehearsal. And we go, oh, yeah, great. We're all wound up. We're ready to go. We've been spending a lot of time together. We're ready to do this. And he's like, great, let's go out in the backyard. So we go in the backyard and there's like a patch of grass. And he goes, why don't you guys lay down there and just rehearse, I don't know, scene 72. So I don't know if that was the actual number, but we flip in the page and we find the script and it just says, Elio and Oliver make out in the grass. And that's all it said. So he goes, whenever you're ready. And so Timmy and I kind of like, okay, let's do this. So we lay down on the grass, we start making out, and he's like, no. More like you feel it, like it's you, me, and then we were like, okay, all right, let's do it. And we start making out again, and we're going. All of a sudden we look up and Luca had already walked away and just kind of left us there in the grass. That was our one rehearsal.
But there was one day when we started rehearsing the villa, the house we were shooting in, and Luca said, let's go rehearse in the backyard. So, Armie was kind of, all right, this is kind of weird. So we brought our scripts diligently, walking there. And it was just me, Armie, and Luca, and I was like, this is kind of weird. And then so we got there and he goes, let's do scene 67. I think the only stage direction was they kiss. And we hadn't made out or anything yet. So Armie and I were kind of looking at each other and, all right, here we go. And we started making out on the ground. And then after a while, we kind of looked up and he was gone.
There were so many moments of laughter yesterday, I was surprised. And then also after the movie ended, I don't know if any of you jumped on Twitter, but everybody was tweeting out peach emojis. And it kind of took off and became a thing. Do you guys have any response to that, or?
We did it for the industry of peaches, to grow.
Luca's part owner in a peach company.
Yeah. Of course, the peach scene is one that you would imagine while reading.
I'm sorry, which scene?
The peach scene.
Peach scene.
Oh, right.
I'm sorry, yeah.
It's the one where I...
Oh, right, yeah, of course, yeah.
It's the one that in the book you'd imagine would be unfilmable. And Lucas said he's not shy. He likes a good challenge. What he just told me, in fact, was that he didn't believe that it could be done till he tried it himself, figured it could be done, and then spoke to you about it and said, go for it.
Yes, I mean, that is an actual conversation we had, which was... maybe like the first weekend of filming, he was like, oh, that scene that we were maybe not going to do because it's not possible, that's something that people can do in real life.
Turns out it's possible, and it's great.
And I was like, hey, how did you feel?
You mentioned the scene. I wasn't even going to bring it up, but I'm sure it comes up in conversation because it is like I can't remember another scene quite like that in a film I've seen.
American Pie.
There you go. That's true.
Wow, tonally that could not be more.
Every 15 or 20 years, there's a classic fruit sex scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
This movie is sort of my big summer romance. Like, I mean, when anyone's like, did you have an experience like this? I was like, yeah, making the movie. It was just like what you're seeing, but better. Because we got to do it 7 days a week. I mean, it was truly such a special experience to make this movie. I mean, I know this sounds so ridiculous now, but I mean, I can't imagine my life moving forward past this movie where I don't carry that with me in a way.
Well, this was it'll be hard for me to have an acting experience that was as immersive as this one, because I was out there a month early, and you know, like sometimes people, when they speak a different language, they say they assume a different personality in that language, and certainly that's true for me when I speak French. And weirdly, just being in that town for 3 months, I don't know, it grew on me, and by the end, I was a version of me I wasn't when I got there. And so to go back to New York after that, it was absolutely surreal, and it's been a struggle to marry these visions ever since. No, but yeah.
There was no distractions. There was no, well, now I got to go grocery shopping, or now I got to walk the. There was just like nothing distracting us from fully immersing ourselves in this world, and it really is what it felt like happened.
I'm stealing this from Armie, so don't kill me when it gets to you, but I don't think I'll ever have an experience as immersive as this one, being out there a month in advance, getting to shoot in the region where it was from, getting to shoot in the region where the director lives, and getting a story that's so intimate and intimately told, and there's so many moments of thought in the script and characters thinking, which is rare. Usually things are very exposition oriented and you got to move the plot forward. So yeah, I'm going to be hard pressed to find a project like this anytime soon, I think.
I forgot the original question. I'm sorry.
What do you bring with you after you make it of this experience?
It's none of your damn business.
And I really mean this from the bottom of my heart, is this was like this on set, but certainly for all things publicity now, or talking about the film, or Q&As afterwards, I got like the best role model in the world to look at, to take after right here, because even the way you know, like the question you asked before, like that, you handled that perfectly. So I'm like a real admirer of how Armie does these things. So to work with him, and I guess I just got to do a movie with Steve Carell, and the way he carries himself too. These are like titans of the industry. There's a reason why these, you know, Armie and Steve, they work so much. And it makes you a little nervous as a young actor, because you don't want to be the guy that goes in there and like lights it on fire or something inadvertently. And Armie Hammer, who in The Social Network and Man from U.N.C.L.E., Lone Ranger, you know, those are films I really loved a lot. So I was happy just to get the chance to work with him.
He is phenomenally talented. He's just so present and so natural and so unfiltered. He's really just a phenomenal talent.
You must have had quite an incredible bond with Timothy on set. What do you think you admire the most about each other?
Okay, well, 3 things. A, his acting. He's an incredible actor, and I've already learned so much from him just in the process of shooting with him, but you know, watching his other films since as well. And then also the man and the husband he is really incredible, and the roadmap for young male actors isn't that strong in show business, you know. There's a lot of sad stories, and I got an awesome role model in Armie.
The thing I admire most about Timmy is how emotionally raw and accessible he is. I mean, you can watch him process so you give him a piece of information and you watch it go, and then he goes, oh yeah, and it's amazing.